Hello, welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuffs and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a very pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. And on this pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things, we have many stuffs and things to talk about, including we will have some news about the channels, updates on videos, and things like that. I'm going to talk about the possibility of perhaps doing another live stream soon on the channel for the Sunday Stuff and Things. We're going to get into a little living situation update. Last week we talked about a situation we were having, and now I have an update on that. Some good news, I think. And then we will have to talk a little bit about the Seahawks. Oh no, I don't have my Seahawks hat on. I have my Adidas hat on. If I were wearing my Seahawks hat, I would point to it and I would say we will be talking about the Seahawks. And then we have a few questions from hashtag askstuffandthings that we will get to at the end as well. But first, some news. All right, so what's going on with the two channels, Stuff and Things and Stuff and Things Plays? Number one, I did mention that I'm thinking about doing another live stream next weekend, and I guess we'll get to that below. Just to cut a long story short, I think we are going to have another live stream next week, and hopefully it'll go off without a hitch. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Merch is still available. We have this one design so far, the I Like Stuff and Things t-shirt in many different colors. We have a unisex t-shirt like this. We also have a female t-shirt, a woman's premium t-shirt, and we also have a hooded sweatshirt. I mentioned when I first talked about doing merch, well actually I guess I first talked about doing merch several months ago, and then we finally got to the point where we have some available on Teespring, and I talked about it as basically a means of trying to raise money to buy a new camera for Stuff and Things and Stuff and Things Plays, and we have now, let's see, so if we go with the camera, we want a lens, so that's going to be that much, 35.9 times tax, so we have to add the tax on it, 27 plus 35.99 equals that, and then we divide it by the t-shirt. So actually, yeah, we need to sell 277 shirts in order to afford the camera, and so far we have sold, let's see, 6. So that means we still have 271 that we need to sell. So we're on our way. No, seriously, thank you to everyone who has bought a shirt. The 6 of you out there, I guarantee it's a nice quality premium shirt. Also, pretty much everything that's being given on Patreon is going towards the t-shirts, not towards the t-shirts, towards the camera as well. So I'm just trying to be able to afford some new equipment for the channel, because the camera we're using right now, it's over 5 years old and it's definitely showing its age. So there's that. Also, upcoming videos. I just did a video last week where I was basically doing something very risky, at least in my opinion, for someone who is not a professional luthier, someone who does not work on guitars for a living. I decided that I was going to lower the string height, lower the action on my Martin 0015 acoustic guitar. You know, you adjust the string height on electric guitars all the time because you have individual saddles and they're adjustable, but on an acoustic guitar, it's a little bit more of a fiddly proposition because you're actually shaving material off the saddle to get the saddle height a little lower, and I decided to do it. I did it in a video. It actually went pretty well, so if you haven't seen that yet and you are at all interested, check that out. There will be some more guitar videos upcoming. I still want to do a really cool feature video on the amazing analog delay pedal that I got a while back from Jam Pedals in Greece. It's the Delay Llama Extreme pedal, and it is amazing. It is a fantastic pedal. I love it, and I want to do a video on that soon. But the next video that will be coming up on Stuff and Things on Wednesday is the review of Captain Earl's Honor blend. This has been a very interesting blend, and it's one that I've been enjoying quite a bit. I've got some right here. I just recorded the review for this, and I don't want to give away too much about the review, but suffice to say, if you want to call this a vapor, and I think I kind of do want to call this a vapor, it is a vapor with a character that is very unique. A flavor profile that you will not taste in any other vapor that I can think of. It's quite interesting. You should check it out. This will be coming up on Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific. And then we also, of course, have our Bloodborne series that I think is getting close to the end. We're doing the DLC right now, the Old Hunters DLC. Just took on a boss in that DLC recently. That'll be posting pretty soon. And I think that's it for upcoming videos, but there's always more in the works, and you should just stay tuned in. One thing I wanted to mention is YouTube seems to be getting weirder or more stringent about age restriction on videos, and that shouldn't really matter because I'm assuming most of you who are watching these videos are adults. The problem with that is if a video gets age restricted, it means that you can't watch it. It won't show up in your feed, you can't find it, you can't click on it unless you're signed in as someone who is over 18. So if there's a video on like a pipe blend review and they decide to age restrict it, and they have been starting to age restrict some of these videos, and this isn't even about, you know, AdSense, getting money for advertisements, because I don't get any advertisement on pipe blend reviews because that is from long ago. The edict came down that you can no longer do that. But you can't even watch the video unless you're signed into a YouTube account. So I know a lot of people who access YouTube through their mobile phone or something like that. They're not necessarily signed in, and so these videos don't even show up. So it's just making it that much more difficult for me to get my content to you. So I just would encourage you, whatever device you're using, to be signed into your device when you're actually watching, and just try to search these videos out. I know some of them aren't appearing in feeds and stuff like that, so just go to the channel page, go to the uploads, see which videos we've been posting recently, and check them out. So just a little PSA there. Next, we did a live stream a few weeks back, or maybe over a month back, and it went really, really well. You guys were amazing. You came out in droves. We had well over 100 people in the chat at the time when I did the live stream. And I think I'd like to do that again. I think I would like to do it this coming weekend. So basically a week from the day, well, no, it'll be a little bit less than a week from today. I'm actually recording this on Saturday, and I want to do it next Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. That's actually Halloween. I'm not going to be dressed up. Don't worry. I'm not going to be dressed up. I don't really celebrate Halloween. But Halloween is next Saturday, and I think at 2 p.m. on that Saturday, we are going to do our next live stream. And just like last time, but hopefully more smoothly than last time, I'm going to try to tweet out when the live stream is active, hopefully with a link. And then also, if you just go to the channel page for Stuff and Things, you should be able to see that we are live streaming. It'll start at 2. I'm going to hopefully finagle things. Last time when I actually posted the live stream video afterwards, it didn't include the chat. So I'm trying to figure that out, how a way to include the chat with the video when you watch it later. And then also, some people were asking me why I didn't have super chats enabled for that last live stream, and frankly, I just didn't know about them. I didn't know what they were. So basically, super chat is a way for you to donate, and then I guess if you donate and then ask a question, that question goes to the top of the chat. And last time it was very difficult for me to keep up with all the chats, and I think I did a pretty good job, and I'm going to continue to do that. But this might be a little bit easier way for you to get your questions seen. So just try to come up with some good questions, things that you'd like to ask me, things that you'd like to talk about. And again, anything from the super chat is going to go towards the new fancy camera. The drive for the fancy camera continues. So next Saturday, October 31st, 2 p.m. Pacific time, will be the next Stuff and Things live stream. So be sure to check it out. Captain Earle. All right. Last week, I told you a tale of woe. I imparted to you some of the frustrations, some of the issues that my fiance and I, Diamond, have been having when someone new moved into the apartment, and we were starting to get all sorts of noise complaints. And I'm not going to get into all of it again. It was a very long, very involved, maybe slightly boring story, though many, many of you commented in giving your opinion on the story afterwards. But I just wanted to give you some good news, a little update. After I posted that video, I thought, for me, it was kind of a good way to vent, to sort of get some of my frustrations out. Because it's hard when you feel as though you're doing everything you can for a situation and it doesn't seem like that's being appreciated. And you feel as though you're in the right, but you just don't know what you can do to improve the situation. So it was nice to kind of get that out there. And then, of course, I knew how supportive all you would be. It was just kind of a nice little reinforcement. But after that video posted, I thought about it and I was like, I don't want to live like this. I don't want to live with this kind of cloud hanging over everything. I want to be comfortable in my own apartment. And I was thinking a lot about how kind of disappointed and upset I've been with just the tenor of social discourse, the way people seem to relate to each other or don't relate to each other in our society these days, and how it just seems like people are just angry all the time. And my thinking about that has always been, we need to try to communicate with each other. We need to try to understand each other. So I thought this is a perfect opportunity for me to practice what I preach. Even though I felt like I was in the right, even though I felt like I had been wronged, and even though if you think about it in kind of a legalistic way, like this is right, this behavior is right, this behavior is wrong, I don't owe any sort of apology or explanation. I should be able to do the right thing and reap the benefits of that. I thought, you know what? I'm going to suck it up. I'm going to try one more time to communicate with this person because I feel like that should be possible. And so I bought a couple beers, and after work, I guess it was Friday. Was it Friday? I can't remember. Maybe it was Thursday. I can't remember. But I decided I'm going to knock on his door and we're going to have a discussion. And so that's what I did. I walked up, knocked on the door, he answered, and I figured, okay, just judging by the way he reacts, I'll know whether or not this is going to work. So when I knocked on the door, I showed the beers and was like, should we try this again? And you could see like he looked wary when he opened the door, but then this look of relief just kind of flooded over his face. And he said, yes, I would like to try this again. And I went, you know what? I think this is going to work. So we went outside, we got to the little picnic table that's out in the yard, and we just started talking. And I started explaining what I really wanted to impart to this person was the fact that we really were trying, and that it wasn't that we were being dismissive of the complaints, and it wasn't that we didn't care. It was just the situation was such that there was noise and there was nothing we could do about it. We were trying our best. And so we just talked, and I explained that. We talked about, the fact that I understand too, when you're moving into a new place, it's a stressful time, and just things sort of snowballed and compounded, and they got out of hand, and there was just a lot of, misunderstanding, ill feeling, all these things that I didn't want and that he didn't want. And the conversation went really well. We talked about how, I had already ordered a carpet for the office and a carpet pad, like a big area rug, and I was like, maybe I could talk to the owner about trying to do something in the bedroom as well, and just showing that I was willing to work and that I wanted things to go well. And he appreciated that. He apologized for his attitude and his behavior, and it was great. Like, there was a good understanding. We ended up talking for like an hour. Now, I don't know this person well, obviously, but it was a very encouraging discussion, a very encouraging conversation, and I'm looking forward to us having good relations in the future. You don't want to be enemies with your neighbors. I don't want to be enemies with anyone, really. I want to get along with everyone if possible. Sometimes a stranger will be rude to me, and I'll throw that rudeness back in their face because, you're just in that kind of mood. If somebody does something that doesn't seem appropriate, something that seems as though they're overstepping kind of the normal niceties of day-to-day life, sometimes it's very tempting to just throw that back. And I'm the kind of person that if you're polite to me, I'll be polite to you. And I always start with politeness and I start with friendliness. But then if that gets rebuffed and thrown back at me, then I might be like, all right, screw you. But that might be fine if it's a stranger and you're never going to see them again unless they like want to beat you or something. But when it's somebody who, if it's your neighbor, just don't let that kind of thing get in the way, or don't let your pride or spitefulness get in the way of a good relationship. And sometimes you have to swallow your pride a little bit. Sometimes you have to kind of give more than you're getting back. But if you think about it, it's the whole adage of cutting off your nose to spite your face. Do you want to be angry, even if you're right, even if you feel righteous in what you're doing and what you've been saying? Is it worth being in a nasty relationship with someone like that? And in this case, I tried again, and it seems to have worked, and I'm quite pleased. We've got the lines of communication open, and I hope that everything is going to work out well. And I just wanted to give that little update because a lot of you seemed very worried or concerned. There were a lot of comments. So now, just to let you know, you don't have to be leaving comments about my neighbor anymore, because I think it's all going to work out. So there you go. All right, we have to talk about the NFL. We have to talk about the Seahawks. They are just coming off their bye week. They are 5-0. They have a horrible defense. I think they're setting records for yardage allowed through the season so far. So that's where we are. Like, how sustainable is this Seahawks season? Can they keep winning with a great offense, with an amazing quarterback in Russell Wilson, with some great receivers in DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, but a horrible defense? And their Sunday game got flexed to Sunday night. They're going to be playing the Cardinals. This is their first in-division game this year, and this is kind of a test. This is a big test. The Cardinals don't have an amazing record, but they definitely seem frisky. They definitely seem pretty good. Kyler Murray's great. And we still don't have Jamal Adams back. We traded basically the entire farm for Jamal Adams. He is still out. The defense is just not good. And I'm really curious to see if they can pull through, if the defense can come together and start getting more stops. Because basically, you can get 500 yards a game on the Seahawks right now. Well, 400 to 500 yards a game. And I don't see that as being sustainable, because the offense can't score over 30 points every single game. And it seems like that's kind of what they have to do every week to win. We've had all these nail biters coming down to the last second, to the last play, and they are undefeated. They are 5-0 right now, but I'm nervous. I'm a little nervous. I'm super excited and very apprehensive about the game coming up tonight, for you tonight at 5:25 or whatever it is, Sunday Night Football, the Seahawks versus the Cardinals. All right, gang, let's get to hashtag #AskStuffandThings. Remember, if you have a question for me and you would like it answered on the next Sunday Stuff and Things, tweet at SAT Bradley with the hashtag #AskStuffandThings, and I will do my best to answer you on the next Sunday Stuff and Things. Also, if you are a Patreon supporter, and thank you all so much for supporting the channels on Patreon, you can ask me questions there as well. First, from Patreon, we have a question from Craig D. Olson. Thank you so much for being a patron, Craig. Craig asks, "It may be personal, so you don't have to read this on the Sunday Stuff and Things show, but how is your sister doing after her recent illness? I hope she has recovered or is recovering. Best, Craig." No, it's not too personal because I spoke about this on the show before. Thank you for your concern, Craig. And my sister is doing really well. She seems to be cancer-free, and she seems to have recovered fully. And fingers crossed, we are all hoping that she stays that way, because again, this was the second time that it recurred, or well, the first time it recurred, the second time that she was treated for it, and we are hoping that this will be the last time. We don't have to worry about this again. And for now, everything seems good. So thank you, Craig. Next, from Twitter, from Tyler at TylerBrubaker20. Good to hear from you, Tyler. "Hey, Bradley, hope you're doing well. With fall now here, I'm just curious as to what Bellingham is like during this season." I've talked a bit about the climate in the Pacific Northwest, in Bellingham in particular. I love the climate here because it is mild, but there are still seasons. And for me, I think fall is probably my favorite season, especially or mostly because I work outside. And in the summer, it's too hot. I don't like working outside when it's hot. In the winter, it's too cold. I don't like working outside when it's too cold. In the spring, it's not bad, but the fall is just perfect because for me, 50 degrees and overcast, that's the perfect weather. I know not everyone will agree, but I love it. And especially if you're doing hard manual labor outside, that is the perfect temperature. And I love seasons changing. I love the feel of nature progressing. You see things moving. If you lived, and I did live in LA for a while, when it's just hot and sunny every freaking day, it just doesn't feel as though you are connected to nature in the same way. But here, you get the fall season. You get the leaves changing, even though we mostly have coniferous trees around here. We do have some deciduous trees, so you do get some leaves changing. It starts to get windy. You might get a storm every once in a while, and then we get into the winter, and it never gets really that cold, but we do get snow occasionally. It mostly just rains a lot. And you get into the spring, and I know I'm not telling you anything new. These are the seasons changing, but we have that in the Pacific Northwest, but it's just not extreme. It's not, 98 degrees in the summer or -6 in the winter. It's more like 75 degrees in the summer, and we'll have weeks of below freezing temperatures, but for the most part, it's like in the mid to high 30s, maybe low 40s during the winter. So you get the full benefit of all the seasons, but you don't have the just like heat and humidity and then freezing cold that you do on the East Coast or in the Midwest. I think it's fantastic. Next, from Tyler, or no, we just did Tyler. Next from Robert G. Evans at Drawn Cutlass. Hey, picked up a can of Samuel Gawith, Squadron leader. T-Pipes has Gawith for sale currently. Oh wow, it's very hard to find usually. Found it quite dry. Wonder if they heard your reviews of SG products. Winking face. Yes, it's been a while since we've been able to review a Samuel Gawith blend because they are very difficult to get in the US, but they always typically came very, very wet. And in fact, I had to have a new category for the wetness with Gawith blends, and I called it Gawith because they were that moist when you would get them out of the tin. But man, I love Squadron Leader, and I haven't had that for so long. I'm gonna have to try to track myself down some of that. Next, from YouTube comments, we have one from Roswell Ryan. Ryan says, can you recommend a good online place to buy these teas here in the UK? I'm US based, obviously, so I'm not buying anything from the UK, but I do think that GQ Tobaccos is a good one. I think they're still around, and I've always heard good things about them, so you could try to check them out. I'm sure there are other people in the UK who can leave comments for you below as well, and I'd appreciate that. Next, from Johnny Boy. Why am I listening to this hipster doofus tell me about pipe tea? He didn't say tea. I'm censoring Johnny Boy. All right, Johnny Boy. The fact that you said hipster doofus, which I'm hoping is a Seinfeld reference, means that I'm going to let you off this time. I'm not going to bring the hammer down on you, Johnny Boy. I had another one the other day that was, what was it? It was like, I'm 4 minutes in and he's just now starting to talk about the subject of the video. Now I know why I don't watch his videos, while he's watching the video and commenting on the video. Anyway, we appreciate all your comments, even the dickish ones. But now, before we close, it is time for the very best part of the show, and that is where we thank our Patreon supporters. If you would like to support the channels, there is a link in the description box below to our Patreon. We mentioned the push for the fancy camera, and your Patreon dollars are definitely going towards that. Also, merch. Don't forget about merch. Link in the description box below. Merch. We like merch. But every week, I like to thank our supporters. Those who support the channels at $25 or more a month get a special shout out. People like Ryan McFadin, MD of the North, Kirk Crompton, Private Eye, Cody Striegler, Glenn, David Gaudreau, Gus, Jason Buckner, Jen O'Side, and John Leone. Thank you all so much for your support. And now the Maniacs, the crazy people who support the channels at $100 a month. People like Peter Straub and Bob Magee. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you all so much for watching, for commenting. Please ask your questions on hashtag askstuffandthings. If we're going to be doing, well, we will be doing the live stream next week. Remember, that is 2 p.m. Pacific time. Go to youtube.com/StuffandThingsShow or go to our normal channel page. I will also be tweeting out a link. But 2 p.m. next week. If you want to ask questions on Twitter, I will try to grab some of those questions and then take them with me for the live stream. But then also, if you just want to come to the live stream and ask questions there, I will be answering your questions there. Don't forget to watch the full review of Captain Earl's Honor Blend coming up this Wednesday. Also, Bloodborne series continuing on Stuff and Things Plays Monday, Wednesday, Friday. More guitar videos coming up, more pipe videos coming up, more videos about probably photography and stuff once we get that fancy new camera, which at the rate we're going, got 275, 210 minus 6. It could be about 3 or 4 years until we get that camera, but we'll see. I want to be getting into photography a little bit more, getting more into just like cinematography. I don't know, we'll see. There's so many things to discuss, so many things that I find interesting, and hopefully you find them interesting as well. But until next time, until we meet again, I've been a good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things on a pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. I'll see you later.